My name is Major Noah Ferry, and I belong to the 5th Michigan Volunteer Cavalry Regiment. Today is June 30th, 1863, and the sun is finally beginning to set on a long and difficult day. The 5th, along with other regiments in the Michigan Brigade, are bivouacked outside of Hanover, Pennsylvania. And today, while on picket duty northwest of Washington, D.C., we ran into Rebel General Jeb Stuart's cavalry. We fought with them in and around town for about 6 hours. The Rebs know their business, but so do we. And at the end of the day, neither side held their advantage. Here at camp, I share a tent with my good friend Major Luther Trowbridge. We've been living rough. In the last 2 weeks, I think I've worn the same dirty uniform every day. Luther is several years younger than me, but he's sharp. He has a degree from Yale, and he practices law in Detroit. And he's a happily married man. Having no sweetheart myself, occasionally Luther takes pity on me and shares with me his letters from home. Luther and I have just come from a meeting with Colonel Alger and the other officers of the 5th. Our commander, Brigadier George Armstrong Custer, has ordered all Michigan regiments to move out at dawn. We're to head west towards a little town called Gettysburg. The general thinks we are not yet done with Stuart's men. It's been about a year since I and 100 lumberjacks in my employ have mustered in at Detroit. We arrived at the capital about 6 months ago and have spent our days mostly in uneventful patrol in Northern Virginia. To pass the time, I write letters to my brothers back in Grand Haven and to my good friend David Cooper, the rector at the Presbyterian Church there in town. Before Easter, I shared this story with David. I sent him a letter with the story. We've had no fighting exactly, but some very fine stealing, and some magnificent charges were made. At Upperville, Company G, with gleaming sabers and at the top of their speed, charged through the town after a bobtailed dog and 3 chickens. Oh, the charge they made! Honor the Light Brigade! We've passed through grounds that are historical, places where battles have been fought and honor won, and land that was supposedly Jeb Stuart's dominion before the war. It was by far the finest place in this part of Virginia, with a palace of a house, capacious barns, very fine orchards, beautiful shade trees that line the road for over 2 miles, and several thousand acres divided up with neat fences into convenient lots. But now, all is a waste. The chimneys of the houses stand alone, save for a few of the trees left as shelter for our cavalry, but all else is as a western prairie. A few stumps of the shade trees still line the road, showing what once was. Such is the vengeance of soldiers. It's been about a month now since Lee whooped Hooker at Chancellorsville, and now the Silver Fox and his army have disappeared into the Shenandoah. The campfire gossips here seem to think that Lee is headed north, and that is why we danced with Stuart's troopers today. Maybe so. I suppose we'll learn more once we get to Gettysburg. I always said I came to war for a fight, and now I suppose I'll get my wish.